I'm a property manager with Owl Management in Lakeview in Chicago.
And I'm Nico Apostol, and I'm Lauren's business partner at Owl Management.
I'm Maggie Finnegan, realtor with Keller Williams Realty in Lincoln Square. And we're here today to talk a little bit about rental policies, because more and more we're seeing condo owners who have to move, perhaps can't sell their condo for what they would like, and decide to rent them. So we're here to talk about some tips and how to make rentals in your condo building a success.
Right. It comes down to value. I think that the reason why people instate rental policies into condo associations is to try and preserve the value of the units and the quality of the community that they live in. So understanding that that's the case, you can almost shoot yourself in the foot if you have too restrictive of a rental policy in your bylaws or in your condo association documents.
Right. We really recommend that you allow some rentals in the building, and if you don't allow any rentals, and then instead of an owner being able to rent their unit, they have to go into the foreclosure proceedings or have to sell it at a very devalued price, it affects the price of your unit, and it affects the price of the building as a whole. And we've also seen associations where if you don't allow any renters, or you only allow 5% or 10%, then owners are trying to hide renters and sneak them in. And then the association's trying to gets into a lawsuit with them because of that, and it just becomes really messy. So we really recommend that you allow renters and just have some restrictions in place with those renters.
Right. Realistically, all a bank is looking for is 51% owner occupancy. That means no more than 49% of the units rented out. So if that is a baseline as a cap, some banks prefer 70 or 80% owner occupancy. But you wouldn't be disqualifying yourself from the bulk of the loans if you just allow, just less than half the building to be rented. So.
And what are some other kinds of controls or standards that could be put in place to assure like a smooth rental?
Yep. We definitely recommend that associations require background checks and credit checks for all the renters. It's an easy way for you to feel safe with who's renting and who's living in your building, because I know that's always a concern. Another concern, people worry about the costs of renters. If you're having to hang elevator pads and have a lot more move-ins and moves-outs, where you're having to, pay someone to change the intercom with the new names, charge fees to make up for those costs. Charge a move-in, move-out fee, charge a fee for adding a tenant to the intercom, and then you really don't have to worry about those costs so much. They're covered.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
And it's important to make sure your the renters in the building are just as involved as the unit owners. So invite them to meetings, invite them to join into whatever events are going on. When they're engaged, they'll take more care of the building, more care of the unit, and you'll have a better quality of life.
Right.
And then even in terms of when they first sign a lease, it's also a good idea to give the renters a copy of the rules and regulations for the building, and help them to understand that, it's a building that they have an investment in too.
Right, exactly. And if your association sends out emails or newsletters, make sure to get the renters on those lists so they know what's going on. If the garage is being power washed, they're informed and they feel more part of the community.
Exactly.
What about restrictions that a condo association might put? How would they establish that to control the percentage rented?
Right.
Policies vary. One is to set a strict cap. Another way is to have a really expensive move-in or move-out fee, something that deters frequent moving in and moving out, so that people are encouraged to stay. Others are caps on the term of a lease, restrictions on the number of times a unit is leased, things like that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, some of our experiences have had differing success with different policies like that.
Right. And to get those policies instated for an association, many associations, their initial bylaws or initial rules and regulations don't even address renters, because it's obviously something that's become more prevalent in recent years. And so we recommend that you actually file an amendment for your bylaws, so that if you have a limit on the number of renters or additional rules and regulations for the renters, put them in your bylaws, not just your rules and regulations. The bylaws will hold up better in court should you ever run into a problem, better than it would if you just had them in your rules and regulations.
When you're writing that rule, try to allow a little bit of flexibility in it. So if you're going to say that there's no more than 20% of the building is allowed to be rented, and then one unit owner gets in a difficult situation where they need to get a tenant and they're moving for some reason, maybe include a hardship clause or something that says that if you can bend the rules a little bit to allow one more rental or allow a special situation to occur. Because otherwise, the alternative is far more damaging to the association, far more costly too. There's nothing worse than having a unit owner that's not paying monthly assessments. The expenses still come, and you have to have the collection available to be able to pay those expenses.
Sure, definitely. Well, thank you, Lauren and Nico. I think those are great tips. And good luck with your management.
Thank you.